If you could give some practical advice on if you're the kind of person who wants to intentionally break the cycles of the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs. We spent quite a bit of time earlier today talking about these limiting beliefs that we have that we oftentimes identify with directly. Like we make them our I am statements,
Yeah.
right? I am this, right? What would be some counsel you would give to people who maybe recognize I've got these limiting beliefs that I've allowed to have dominion over my mind, and I want to start breaking those patterns and maybe changing my state and getting out of those funks a little bit more? What's your advice for that?
You know, for next time,
Yeah.
now that I know your format, this is typically the type of format that I literally do some interventions.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have some time, but maybe I'll do some chit chats with some of you live while we're here. It's well, you've seen you know, that one, but anyway. So okay, number one, do you acknowledge the limited belief? Now, keep in mind, what I may believe is a limited belief for me may not be a limited belief for you, and vice versa.
Yeah, of course.
All right. The next thing is, have you identified why is it really limiting? And how does it limit you? And I will assure you, I can take any human being, I don't care who you are, and within a 5-minute conversation on a specific subject, I can identify a limited belief that you have. Mm-hmm. You want to be so good that you can identify all your limited beliefs during the day. This is why I have a wristband from my company that reads, wherever I'm at, I'm not at my potential. So if I feel I'm too tired or I can't do this, my belief says wherever I'm at, I am not at my potential. Tomorrow I'm going to show you a strategy where if anybody's ever prone to depression or you know somebody who's prone to depression, I will give you a strategy without hocus pocus that can change that literally for the rest of your life. And you'll hear my story tomorrow where you'll see why I needed to learn these things. So identify the limited belief. How is it actually limiting you? Now keep in mind, many times people don't change because of a routine that they're in. People often that are alcoholics or have addictions, many times the addictions that they have is simply because of a routine they're in. They go to work, they work all day long, they go home, they have a pattern, they get their potato chips and their 3 beers, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. Go to sleep, wake up, do it again. The moment that pattern gets broken with a new exciting thing in life or a new relationship or a switch or something like that, life changes and it can be changed instantly. And we'll talk about this as well tomorrow. Things can happen faster and change than you think they are possible to happen. You have to be able to believe that's possible and figure out what are the possibilities, because there's something out there that will motivate you that you may not think is motivating you right now. If you had a heart attack because you're overweight, you see a lot of people that have heart attacks because they're overweight, and what do? They're working out at the gym now. Before you know, they have a course on how to lose weight. Could they have done it 10 years ago? Yes. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to quit that smoking? What are you waiting for to quit that addiction? What are you waiting for whatever? And a lot of times you don't take the time to think this through. Because we're so, individuals are people who are a product of our behaviors, sometimes you don't stop and think, literally take the time and interview yourself and say, why do I really do this? Because everything you're doing for, whether you realize it or not, is for a feeling. If I ask you, why do you want to be rich? Or why do you want to be richer? Yeah, I want to buy this, I want to do that. No, you don't. You really do. But it's giving you a feeling. What's the feeling that you're going for? So when you're not doing something that you know you should do, you're missing the feeling that you're going for. Everything that you're going for, whether you realize it or not, is for a feeling. And tomorrow we're going to talk about how to lead your feelings. And men, I'm glad to see some women in here, the men have the worst problem when it comes to that, because girls will hug each other and cry and talk about their feelings. You don't see too many guys hugging and crying about their feelings. But it's because the suicide rate for men is so high, it's because they don't tap into their emotions and feelings, and it doesn't seem to be socially acceptable for us to do that. So you'll find that I encourage men to do that, big time, because we have this perception sometimes by society in many countries in the world that you can't show a tear if you're a man. Who comes up with that foolishness? That is just the craziest thing I've ever heard of. I remember even I went to a funeral, and this was an actual person in this funeral who was very, very close to the person that died. I said, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing fine, but I just got to make sure I don't cry so I can stay strong." So you have a belief that says that for me to be strong, I can't cry. you're going to break sooner or later. Trust me, when you break, it's not going to be fun. If you'd like, I can do I wasn't planning to do the tickling thing tomorrow because of a time restraint. We got time to do that, to give an example of how quick belief system
I think that would be actually really appropriate because that's demonstrative. That shows and illustrates the point about how a belief system can be modified in a moment with proper stimulus and proper focus. Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that change can happen very, very, very fast. And the information that Jonathan shared about the lady that I worked with some years ago, keep in mind this was not hypnosis. Now, the demonstration I'd like to do, it has to have the right person in the room. Sometimes I don't. This might be a room where I might. And what I'm going to try to demonstrate here, if there's a person with a specific challenge, which I'll talk about in a moment, and you'll see that person, if they're here, if they have that challenge, they've had that belief their entire life. Their entire life. And you'll see in a matter of 3 minutes that in a belief that they've had for their entire life can literally be diminished in the matter of a few minutes with the right strategies, and again, zero hypnosis. So, does anybody in here by any chance very ticklish? Just kind of curious. You know what's going to happen if you are.
Very
are you ticklish on the side? Anybody ticklish on the ribs? Okay, you are. And it's Benny. Benny, love your story, by the way. Benny, would you like to come up and do a little demonstration with me and show? I'll teach you how to reprogram your mind. Would you like to do that?
Come on,
reluctantly, yes. Give him a hand. All right, let's do this.
Do you want Benny to have a mic for this portion?
I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So, Benny, come on up here. Good to meet you. Pleasure. Now, the only way, I mean, this is not set up, but imagine this would, yeah, okay. That didn't look fake, okay? That looked pretty real. All right, so you are pretty ticklish, okay? Very ticklish, all right. So he's got a belief that he believes he's ticklish. So let's take this belief a little further. Do me a favor, Benny, where I just touch you. Can you go ahead and touch yourself there? Okay. Okay, why are you not laughing? I thought you said you were ticklish. So he's bought a subconscious belief that says, if I tickle myself, I'm not ticklish.
Correct.
But if I tickle you, you're ticklish.
Wow.
Okay? How long have you had that belief, Benny?
Forever.
Forever. How did you get that belief? He got that belief when he was a little tiny baby, and his parents tickled his toes just to see him laugh. That's how you became ticklish. So he's got a belief that says, if I tickle myself, I'm not ticklish, but if somebody tickles me, I'm ticklish. I'm going to watch now in the matter of a few minutes, 3 minutes or so, you're going to watch him no longer be ticklish. Now, if he continues with this exercise, he'll eliminate this for the rest of his life, literally. Now, you're saying to me, Gary, what the world does this have to do with anything? Here's the thing. A belief is a belief is a belief. If you can learn to program and rewire one belief, then you can learn to rewire another belief. And another belief, and another belief.